a little embarrassing for me. I'd like to stay in the background rather than be up here and watching people brag about me. I think this should happen after you're dead. And that's why I've sort of referred to this as a hanging. But I guess that's not quite the way to put it. But I've been in Edmonton for a long time. And in fact, the first pro hockey game I saw here in the old Edmonton Gardens. And it was a great experience. I'd pretty well raised myself, or my family raised me in Viking and Wainwright, Alberta, and we didn't have a lot of TV. And coming to Edmonton as a junior hockey player, I had no idea what I was getting into, and it's been a lifetime of what I have, of what a family I have. I owe everything to hockey, and it's been quite a life for me. I thank everybody. I certainly thank Edmonton, and there's been a lot of great people that have helped me along the way, and lots of them are here. Lots of my friends, Peter Plockington. Barry Fraser is really the architect of drafting this hockey team. I mean, we had a few arguments over who we were going to draft, and somehow he always won. But it's good to see you, Barry. And the city has been terrific. I see Kevin Lowe here and a lot of the guys. I watched them grow up, and this is going to be a good hockey team we have in Edmonton. Let's hope they're not too good tomorrow.
I don't know. I mean, I think when guys get in trouble, I used to say to them, I knew there was going to be some problems at some point in time. I mean, we had a pack of young guys. And I said, call me before you call your agent, because I can help you a lot more than he can. And that's the way it turned out. And I liked helping them. I enjoyed that part of it. And I like helping people. And I like to be a problem solver. I knew Doug Messier. I mean, he was the first guy that really knocked me out. I guess I could sue the league now for concussion. Thinking about that. But he was the first guy to knock me out. I was playing for the Oil Kings. We played against the Edmonton Flyers. He caught me with my head down and got me a good elbow. It was a good lesson. But I saw Mark play in St. Albert when he was young. I mean, he was young when he was in the NHL, and he was young when he was playing in the WHA, but I'm talking about either 14 or 15 years old. And of course, I'd seen him in the WHA. Brian Watson knew him well because they played in the same team together. Mark didn't have a lot of points that year, but we played against him, and Dennis Sobchuk was our star on the team that year, and Mark, I think, was 17. He beat the tar out of him. And I like that about him. I said, this guy's going to be a real good competitive player someday. And then we got into the draft, and of course Barry and I had our regular argument about who we're going to draft. And Mark slipped to the third round and said, we're taking him. And he said, no, we're not. I said, we are. We took him. That was it. So I won that argument. I wanted to let them experience some other things rather than playing hockey and being a celebrity. And in order to do that, they had to have some other activities in their life that would give them some purpose other than hanging around the bar. And there's lots of bars to hang around in Edmonton, and I knew that that'd be part of it. But, you know, to introduce them to fishing, or, you know, we went target shooting. Alberta's a great place for the outdoors. And, you know, a lot of these kids had never really experienced it. And it was just an opportunity, and I enjoyed doing it too. The skidooing, that might have been a little risky at some point, but it was fun. We had some good times together, and I can remember one time Pocklington got stuck in kind of a tree hole, you know, where there's the snow forms around the tree, and then there's a sinkhole in there. He got stuck in there, and we had to go back and find him, get him out of there. He wasn't a great driver on the skidoo, but or on a jet boat, I was going to say. But it was fun to do that kind of stuff. You know, Buckberger ran into a fence post one time and had cut his side because they got too good at it. And then they, like anybody, you know, you drive a race car, pretty soon you think you're an expert. But skidoos are dangerous. You had to pay attention. But it was a lot of fun, and it was fun just being around those players and giving them another interest in life.
Was there a moment, I mean, obviously you got Gretzky and there were some early drafts that brought some young players into the organization, but when did you begin to realize that not only did you have something here, but you had something here that would last for, 6, 7, 8 years as a real contender? When did the team offer you that first glimmer of what they would become?
When they started to have fun on the ice, and they bought into the motion that I was trying to get them to do, and switch sides and move and play at full speed. I can't tell you exactly when the moment happened, but I like to say the moment happened when we got Wayne from Indianapolis, and that was really the start, because at that time, the foundation was there, and I just had to surround him with other people that could complement him, and he could make them into better players, and it was great. I mean, can you think of what it would have been like if we had been able to keep Bent Aki Gustafson too? And the league screwed us out of that deal, but he should have been here as well. It happened. I mean, the banner hanging is, and I call it a hanging, but the putting the players' names in the rafter, I can understand that. But to have mine there, I mean, that was pretty shocking when they called me and asked me this summer if I would do it. And I said, well, what can I say? Well, I can answer the cigar part. One of the guys that's going to be here, Ralph Lean, is a lawyer from Toronto. And he was on our fishing trips to the Arctic with Peter Pocklington, and he's got an office in Cuba. He brought me back some cigars from Cuba, so that's when the last cigar was that I've had. I don't actually smoke them very much anymore. I did when I rode a lot in horses or when I was fishing a lot. But it's difficult to try and smoke a cigar any place today. I mean, my wife, if I do, or my grandkids do, I mean, you just can't get away with it. And, of course, the horse I had died, so that's out of the question. As a lot of my friends are starting to do the same. But I just got distracted there for a second. Give me the first part of that question.